Hello and welcome to PaintU. I am your host, Tom Hudach from TNT Custom Paint, and today we are going to be cartooning and doing a little pinstripe design on this wood panel that I prepared. So before we get started, I really want to thank the band Eternal Boy, who's a pop punk band out of Pennsylvania. I saw them when they came to a live show with Alistair about 2 months ago in Cleveland, and they really impressed me, and I'm honored that they gave me the okay to use their newest record, Bad Days Are Over, as the background music for this video. So I am in the show notes going to put down their new tour dates for 2023, and if they come to your area, you really have to check them out because they're a solid pop punk band. They're a really good time to watch, and I know you'll enjoy them. So just a quick rundown of what to expect here. There's going to be some blocking in, some outlining, some stipple shading, and some Dagger style pinstriping. So it is a really cool video. I hope you really enjoy it. And let me know down in the comments what you think about it and what you want to see next. Let's go. Here what I did is I took some alpha blue and some tan. And I just mixed up that color a little bit just to give it a little bit of a brighter blue. Something to contrast that darker blue background. And I'm literally just blocking everything in, kind of rough, and I'm leaving the outlines from where I drew in the cartoon skull, just so they're there for my reference when I go and outline everything. It's all just reference lines, those little gaps, and you'll see later in the video that I do a little bit of touching up because some of the gaps are a little wide. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Just keep your references. It's a lot easier than waiting for the paint to dry and then going over it with a Stabilo pencil or something and trying to get all your reference lines again later. They're already drawn in. Just block around them and let's enjoy some music.
Remember the promise that you made me. You'd be strong even if it hurts.
Holy crap, if that doesn't get stuck in your head, nothing will. Oh man. Alright, I just want to make mention real quick. Check out how I'm using the side of the brush and the full face of the brush to kind of get whatever stroke that I need. Flip-flop that brush however you need to get the flood stroke or the flat stroke and keep on blocking. Real quick, added just a little bit of McKee's black to my blue just to muddy that up a little bit to blacken the dark spots. Let's keep rocking. Now I am dirty paletting, so you can get some streaking going on between this black and blue mixture, but sometimes you could use it to your advantage, and it kind of has a cool effect, kind of like this is. We're going streaking. This bone color here is the Alpha Ivory, right out of the can. I didn't mix this with anything else. And all these cartoon brushes and all the supplies can be found on my website, tntcustompaint.com. In case you didn't know.
But inside I always knew. It's been a long year. Set me out, I've been gone for a long time. Stuck in the atmosphere. Pushed me away when I tried to pick me apart.
And the reason I'm using the ivory right out of the bottle is because we are going to be doing the stipple shading, so I'm going to be progressively getting darker with black mixed into that ivory dirty paletting to get our shading gradients. So that's the reason. This is one of those times where you want to use your maul stick so you can bridge over your wet paint and have your brush hand stabilized. But it was in my pinstripe box and that was like 7 feet away and I didn't feel like going to get it, so I'm just going to struggle instead. as I'm reviewing my playbacks here, I just want to cut all the voiceover out and just listen to the music. This band is so good. All right, so in a second, I'm gonna dirty mix a little bit of black in with the tan for the low light in the eye socket here. And I did it with the ivory to kind of contrast the other part of the eye socket for this highlighted area, because I do want that contrast between the two blocks. And you can see some of the streaks going on from the effects of the dirty paletting. Use some of these effects to your advantage. You know, have fun with it. And here I got one of the detail brushes I grabbed, just straight McKee's black, that I'm going to start doing some of the detail with. And there you go. Once again, me struggling because I am refusing to go get my maul stick and try not to get my fat hand stuck in some wet paint. I just touched up a little bit of blue spot right there, and let's keep going. And also, while I'm outlining, you can see why I block around all of my outlines, because all my references are there. And this is the part where you can really kind of take your time and crush some of the line work and get your details in before you start doing the stipple shading. So really take your time and get creative with where you want some of your detail lines to go. And let's keep going.
Found what I was missing. Inspiration to be my best. Whoa. But I can't do this on my own. Shit, you know I've waited for things to go my way.
And another thing to kind of pay attention to, every time I repalette, I'm twisting my brush while I'm loading the paint so I can get a real nice point, so I can keep that detail real nice and sharp when I go and start my lines. Also, this is the trending brush that I'm using right here. It is the smaller of the two brushes that I have available. The hashtag brush is the other one that's a little bit wider. And this is the finest detail brush that I have for outlining, is the trending brush, and this thing is a freaking banger. One thing I want you to really pay attention to here is the way I'm holding my brush, the handle specifically. If you're holding the handle of the brush at a 90-degree angle, the hairs tend to turn over themselves a little bit more. So if you're making a line in a circle or a C or an S, the hairs move on themselves real nicely. But if you try to do that and the brush is a little bit more to 45, the brush can't pull on itself. The hairs are restricted and it kind of gets gloppy and messy. So right here, when I have the brush laid a little bit more to 45, I'm gonna draw this line just more towards me. So I always kind of have that brush angled in the direction of the line that I'm trying to pull. God, I hope that made sense. I did crop out a little bit of the outline so you could see the end result a little bit faster. I do know that the nuggets of information that I'm dropping are invaluable during this part, but I do want you guys to see the rest of this. So let's keep it going. Time for Violet. Just so you know, I am leaving a little bit of blue gap in between the black outline and this violet, but I do think this violet really pops off of this blue, and it does really give a good contrast and interest. What do you think? Here's a little bit of cinema magic for you. I outlined it one more time just to make it pop, and boop, there you go. Time for teal. I know you're just as excited as I am. I know I'm a bit of a broken record here, but pay attention to how I'm holding that brush. The different angles dictates where that brush is going to be going, so it's important. Now we all know that this teal goes over pretty much any color and looks phenomenal, but this is just A1 right here. Now it's time to do some stippling, and really stippling is straight up just thousands of dots over and over and over again. I mixed up a little bit of black into the ivory just to make a darker tone. And then I will go over that one more time, make it a little bit darker. And I'm just going to speed up and go through this one so you can kind of see this progression, because this part takes a long time.
She's not the type of girl who laughs at your dumb jokes. She makes a point to say that you're not funny at all. I wrote you this song so I can finally say, I hope you choose to stay.
I mean, it really is a lot of dots. It's very monotonous, but the effect really is awesome, and it's super easy to do. So if you haven't tried it yet, give it a shot.
I think I'm in love.
I did work from light to dark also, getting progressive as I went towards the edges and the darker areas. So keep that in mind also when you're doing yours. Now let's get into some pinstriping. This here, I'm just using straight alpha blue out of the can. And I have an Excalibur 0 because I wanted a little bit of a thicker line, and I actually blunt edged this brush years ago, but it actually worked out for this. I thought I ruined the brush, but I never throw out a brush, and this was actually perfect because when I do this box going around the skull in the highlighted area, it really kind of gave me a really nice start and stop edge. Watch how I'm twisting that belly of the brush out of the way also. It really gives you a good clean line, gives you a good clean edge as you're going around those tight bends. Remember, we don't want a lot of belly out of this brush. We're looking for just that tip. Now, if you watch right there, my friend Jay actually pointed out that I'm always pre-drawing stuff in the air before I do it, which I never knew until he pointed it out. So watching this here as I'm editing it reminded me of what Jay said when we were pinstriping together, and that made me laugh. Thought I'd share that.
I'm so brave and I'm a shell of myself, proving once again I can't trust anyone else.
And the concept of this too was half of a skull and half of a pinstripe design, which kind of balances one side of the panel out with the other. I thought it looked really cool, and again, please let me know what you guys think about this. I am using mineral spirits here as the reducer for my alpha enamel. I'm using it very, very sparingly. You don't really need a lot of reducer in the alpha when you are doing dagger striping. Really, a little bit goes a long way while you're paleting the paint into the hairs. So really use it sparingly. If you're starting to get gloppy lines, you're using too much. And coming down to the end of this video here, I do want to thank Eternal Boy one more time for letting me use their new album, Bad Days Are Over. Their tour dates are down in the description of the video. So if they are coming to your area, please go check them out because they are a great time. I really wanted the focal point of the panel to really pop. So as I was holding up some cans trying to get an idea, the lime green kind of really gave it a crotch kick. And that's what I decided to go for on this area. And it really pops.
I wish I had the nerve to say this 10 years ago, but it's always just so hard to let things go.
Come on, Tom. Keep it straight. All right, let's flip this around and give this connection a little cleanup here. And we're good. Also, if you need any supplies or anything, it's all up there at tntcustompaint.com. That's my website. And if you have any problems or questions, email me, tom.tntcustompaint@gmail.com. We'll get it figured out and on the straight and narrow. Here we go. I hope you guys really liked it because I had a lot of fun doing it. Cheers.